Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Filterless Podcast, the podcast where we talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about, however the fuck we want to talk about it. My name is Kat, or Dr. Catatonic if you come from YouTube, and I am joined, as always, by my lovely co-host. I almost said Ace of Shame. It's going to be so hard not to say that. The main character, Jeremy.
I'm just a side hoe to you, aren't I?
Yeah, I mean, I've introduced Ace of Shame as my co-host for so freaking long, and then he's like, yeah, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, damn it, now I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to relearn the intro. But yeah, how we doing today, buddy?
I guess Ace just couldn't get it up anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, yeah. How anyways, how are we doing?
We know how we did today.
Yes, but the viewers don't. We went to a gun show. Jeremy bought a firearm.
Yippee! Yeah.
Yeah. So I wasn't really paying attention, because I knew, like, hey, if I paid attention, then we won't have anything to talk about during small talk. What exactly happened, and why weren't you able to pick it up today?
Oh, so that's just Florida law, is that you have to wait a waiting period of 3 days before accepting your firearm into your own hands.
Okay.
And also, they have to do a background check, but she already told me, like, when we were already there that I was already cleared for it, so it's just the waiting period.
Okay, fair enough. So you're picking that up, what, Thursday? This will date the episode,
yeah.
But the next time we record, he'll have a gun. Not on the episode, but, I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I went to a birthday party after I went to the gun show. That's pretty much it. Some fucking cake. Yum. Had breakfast.
You did what to the cake?
I fucked the cake.
Oh, man, I hope all the, participants of the party were, of age.
Yeah, I didn't ejaculate into the cake. I'm gonna shut up. I didn't fuck the cake. I said I had some fucking cake. Cake is good.
Yeah.
Cake is good. Pie's better, personally. And Jeremy, you want to hit us with a disturbing fun fact for the episode?
Well, for all those coffee drinkers out there, this fact might not sit you so well. In a study found by scientists, is that 90% of mugs tested contain some type of bacteria, with 20% of them actually containing fecal matter on them. And, yeah.
The mugs or the beans?
The mugs themselves. The things you're drinking out of.
Weird. Yes, I love when my ceramic shits itself.
Maybe you should stop drinking coffee when you got shit on your hands. I don't know.
But
simple solution, I would think.
Yeah, fair enough. So today, past the disturbing fun fact. You motherfucker! Today, for this episode, for you guys watching and not listening, you might notice that there is a spinning thing behind Jeremy and I's PNG tubers. And that is because we are doing what I like to call bad advice roulette. Editor, put in the, like, dun 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 dun, like, music, you know? Yeah, that one. I'm tired, dude. So
Cat talking to himself any percent.
No, I don't edit these. That was a lie. Anyways, so the way the game is gonna work is we're going to spin the wheel, and we're going to essentially use this as a randomizer for my 25 prompts, and we're just gonna give you the bad advice side of it, and you can use your common sense and not use that one. But the goal is to make them good enough, you know? So, like, yeah, it'll work, but you might end up in jail. So
bottom line is, these are issues in your life, and we're going to tell you how to solve them.
Yeah, I might just cut to that. and then not cut out me explaining that I'm gonna cut to that. So then people are like, man, that guy fucking rambled. he
in the middle of you yapping. Yeah, just have me cut in and be like, anyway.
So yes, this is how this is gonna work, and without further ado, before we do start, I would like to say, 2 things. One, merch dropped. A new merch dropped today. It'll be a week. It'll be a week from now that you guys will see this episode and hear me say this. But new merch dropped today. It looks pretty dope. We got some more really cool stuff coming, and also join the Discord. Give us ideas for topics. We're not necessarily out of ideas. I think I have the next two months planned, but if you guys give us an idea, we will 100% use it, and you guys will get credit for the episode and a shout out, because that's always fun. Without further ado, let's get into the bad ideas, bad advice, whatever, same thing.
Title card.
Bum bum ba bum bum ba. Anyways, the first spin. Jeremy, you're gonna take this one. You're gonna take the lead on this one.
I'm gonna take the lead.
Yes. How to make a best friend.
I know the way how to actually do this, but the easiest way, and probably that can solve 90% of these, is by owning a firearm. Right? You walk out of your house, go to a main road, and point it at somebody and go, "Hey, you're my best friend now. We're having soft tacos later," and then you take them with you.
I mean,
you take them with you, and now they're your best friend.
I mean, I was just gonna say, like, kidnap their family. You know, allow them
ransom, gunpoint. It's all the same.
You know, you kidnap their family, and then you get them to spend time with you by promising that they'll get to call their wife for like an hour. So every 1 hour that they spend with you is a 30 minutes they get to call their wife for, you know? Wife and kids. And if they don't have a wife and kids, drag. Give them one.
So, interesting. So, it's kind of like that thing with parents do when they make up their own currency, and then you get to spend, like, parent points on, like, being able to do things.
You get to spend
with
best
the guy
friend
you kidnapped.
No, not the guy that you kidnapped. His family.
No, right. You have the guy you kidnapped. You lock him in a cage, and if he's on good behavior, he gets points, and he can spend those points to do things.
Like go visit his family for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Like it's a Mr. Beast video. It was like partway through. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, your wife and kids are here.
And then they cry because they haven't seen their wife and kids for like 3 days because $1 million is on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's how you make a good best friend. I was gonna delete that. Oh well. Kidnap them, or threaten them with a firearm. Anyways, the next one. Distractible makes spinning the wheel look so much more fun. How to start a podcast. Okay, I'll take the lead on this one. So what you do is you sit down at the lunch table in high school with your couple of your friends, and then just go on fucking weird ass tangents, and then realize, man, we're pretty funny. We should start a podcast. And then wait 3 years to start a podcast with not those people, with a different person, completely unrelated to the original friend group, only for them to quit. And then you have another friend who you've known since high school replace them, also not part of the original friend group. That's how you start a podcast.
Not Cat going on a whole venting spree.
I'm not venting. That's actually the origin story of Filterless. Fun fact. That's
the Filterless lore.
That's the best way.
So
probably the worst way, actually. The way Filterless started was bad.
So that's Cat's idea. So you still have this guy you've kidnapped, right? And so you take him and you're like, hey, hold this Blue Yeti mic, or you're gonna wait 6 months to see your kids again, and you just start a podcast with that guy, and obviously if he's like sending secret messages, you can, like, I don't know, take away some of his friendship points that, you know, hinders
Maybe
his
a
ability
finger.
to do things.
Maybe
No,
a
he's
finger.
got to keep all his mandibles.
Maybe like half a finger.
Because like kidnapping is one charge, but then like hurting the guy is like a whole other charge you have to deal with. It's the whole ordeal.
But no, he's your best friend, so he would never tell on you.
Of course not.
At this point in time,
you know,
at this point in time, you formed a bond with your wage slave.
Well, you know, sometimes best friends make mistakes, and that's okay.
And those mistakes might end you in jail, but that's okay. He'll always be forgiven. Anyways, I think I like yours more. Yeah, you don't even need to find new friends. You just use the one that you kidnapped at gunpoint. I don't want to be like the guy that's like, please for the love of God, don't do this. Please for the love of God, don't do these. These are jokes. Jeremy, why don't you take the reins on how to hide being gay?
Okay, so you have this best friend, right? And, you know, you and him, you're doing the podcast and shit, but because he's always hidden away, if you do things with him, no one's ever gonna know because no one ever sees him. So you don't even have to hide being gay because the act is already hidden enough to where no one's gonna ever find out anyway.
So now we're adding to the charge, or is it consensual? I hope to God it's consensual.
No. He's your best friend. He would never say no.
Okay. So here's how I would do it. Find a girlfriend that has a dick. Done. Chick with dude with tits.
Yeah, all right.
Voila.
I guess.
I mean, I guess that's a good idea though. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I don't have a bad one. That's actually a good idea. Boom. You hide being gay by dating a transgender that has a... Anyways, I'm gonna cut straight to this. Everything broke. You guys won't hear the troubleshooting, but we will. So yeah, that's how I would do that. I would get a girlfriend with a dick. Voila. I mean, as long as she doesn't wear tight pants, you should be fine. To continue, you know. Anyways,
yeah.
New topic, new prompt.
New leaf, you know. It's just, you know.
How to get drunk. So what you do is you don't eat anything. You wake up, you don't eat anything until around like dinner time. And then at that point in time, take like 4 or 5 shots of vodka. Cheapest way to get drunk fast. Actually, you'd probably die if we're being real. The trick is you can't eat anything. If you eat nothing, one drink will fuck you up. Voila. And if you die... If you die, you're... Go ahead.
And if you die... Just... This was a bad one. This one is not hitting all the marks.
Go. Okay, what's your bad idea to get drunk?
Well, because there has to be a bad idea in the scenario of how to get drunk, we must acquire this alcohol some kind of way, right? So you get your trusty pistol that you have from number 1, and you
from
go
the first
to
prompt.
A local liquor store. Yeah. From liquor store, or you go to liquor store, and you acquire the alcohol, and then you just don't even leave, just like sit in the store and just start drinking until you're drunk. And then if you drink enough, you just simply won't remember anything that's happened.
And then when you get arrested, you call up your best friend, and because It'll reward him friendship points, and he'll get to see his wife and kids for the weekend. He'll bail you out of jail. Right?
Yeah.
Voila. Getting drunk solved. I have a cat on my chest. I can't see anything. Remove. Next prompt from the bad idea roulette wheel. How to gift something to someone.
Okay, so you have your best friend, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's doing really good. He's getting like all these friendship points. He's being like real behaved.
The best so you're boy, like, if you will.
Yeah. So, you're like, hey, I got you this gift. And he's like, yo, what is it? And you're like, go ahead, open it. And he opens it, and it's, a picture of you and him kids. Together. No. It's a picture of you and him. And because he's your best friend, he will love and cherish it, and he will hang it on his cell wall. His just regular. No. On his regular wall, because he's not trapped. He just wants to be there.
He wants to be there unwillingly.
No, willingly. I'm sure.
I'm sure. So here's what I would do. I would put the thing in a box. You know how much people love glitter, though? Like, it's so sparkly, it's fun. You just fill the box instead of with, like, tissue paper. Just, like, 1,000 grit, or, like, not 1,000 grit, but the really, really, really fine glitter. And put it in the box. But then make it so when they open the box, they get a little surprise and the bottom of the box falls out. And not the top. And then they get a little surprise, and now their house is pretty, it's glittering. Everyone loves when your house shines and glitters, right? And that's how I would gift something to someone.
So, little side Jeremy lore. My girlfriend at the time of this event had acquired glitter from some place, and at this time my total square footage of my house was like 25 feet total, and she was just like, hey, I got all this glitter, and proceeded to dump it all over the floor, herself, myself, and special third person, the dog.
Oh no. Wait, she purposely spilled it, or did, like, she tripped and spilled it? Why?
She sweared at the time that she accidentally spilled it and then decided to go ham. I think she purposely spilled the first part, and then she was like, well, now that I've spilled some of it, let me just go ahead and, like, dump out 2 whole containers of glitter all over everything.
Oh, no. You burned the house afterwards, right?
I had to live there. I couldn't simply just burn it down.
I'm still picking glitter off of my pants.
It was but awful. It was like it's been 2 months and there's still glitter in my balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, this one's my spin, right? I think this one's mine.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, this one says how to optimize. Uh-oh. How to optimize your trick-or-treating experience. Okay. I have the perfect response. Okay, so what you do is you get dressed up in your nicest costume, right? And then you just go out. And by nicest costume, I mean like the scariest one you have, because everyone loves scary things. And then you go up to children and go, rah, give me your candy. Because I scared you. It was a trick. So now you have to give me a treat. And you just rob children of candy. Voila. And then you also go to the houses. Double candy.
Okay. See, I like where you're going. I like some of those words.
He's going to bring up the gun again.
Including the word rob. So, how to optimize your trick-or-treating experience. Who said that treats had to be limited to candy?
Uh-oh.
Am I right? So, what you do is
you and your best friend
who you've Yeah, you and your best friend that you've always had forever, and you send them up to be like the kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just your best friend does their thing. He gets a peek on the inside. He's like, okay, thank you for the candy, and he walks back to you. He gives you the deets, right? He gives you all the intel. He's like your scout, and then you go up there, and you ring the doorbell, and then you run away. A little ding dong ditch, and then you find a cracked window or an open door, and then you get all the treats that you could have ever wanted inside their house while they're busy.
AKA all of their electronics. So
anything that you want.
What's stopping you from, instead of your best friend going up and just talking to them, what if you wiretap your best friend, right? So you can hear everything that's being said, so you get the deets without him leaving the person. He just, like, very sneakily tells you things about the inside of the house. That way he can chat them up while you sneak into their house. So then you don't have to worry about them, you ding-dong ditching them, and then them being like, oh, I guess it's nothing, and then turning around to watch you taking their Samsung TV. Sorry, their treat off of the wall.
Well, okay, here's the deal, is that I value my best friend very highly, and I would never want to put him in any kind of danger to where he could get hurt, or, have to talk to the police in any kind of form or manner. So I don't want him to get involved with, having to, be a suspect,
Mm-hmm. Because, God forbid, you lose your best friend.
Of course.
I'm glad we started with
traumatic.
that one, because if we didn't start with how to get a best friend, all of your things would be invalid.
Yeah, I really built up this whole thing.
Man, he's going on a... I like how you're also like, no, I would never hurt his wife and kids, because that's too many that's too many charges, and now you're talking about breaking into people's houses, robbing liquor stores for the liquor and not the money.
Well, would you ever hurt your best friend? I don't think you would hurt your best friend.
I would not.
I would also never hurt my best friend.
Next one. This one's yours. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. How to get away with being intoxicated.
Well, hold on, I need some time to ponder.
Uh-oh.
Because what is the reason for having to get away with being intoxicated? Am I like being pulled over?
Let's say it's you got drunk on the job.
Okay. So, it's a nice summer evening.
Uh-oh, we're going on a whole adventure.
It's a Friday afternoon, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna be real. There ain't nobody here. Boss man's out for the day. I'm kind of in charge right now. I'm kind of just doing my own thing. No one's gonna matter if I just no one's gonna give me any shit if I just sneak some in there.
Mm-hmm.
But then boss man comes back. This is when you use the trusty companion at your side always, your best friend, right? So similar to your trick-or-treating tactics, you have him go up to boss man, talk up boss man, be like, yo, what's up, boss man? And give him the
what's up, boss man?
And he's talking, and maybe he talks for just long enough that it like wears off. But if it doesn't, your best friend always has your back, and he's gonna make sure that boss man doesn't see you, no matter the cost.
Uh-oh. What? That's it? You're just gonna end it like that?
If boss man doesn't see you, in my opinion, that you're getting away. No one's gonna snitch because your best friend would never do that, and and he'll make sure that everything's covered. He'll deal with it, and he'll make sure that boss man doesn't give you any trouble.
Okay, so here's how I would do it. Friday evening, no one's there. We're gonna say that I don't work in a service job and I actually work like a restaurant, right? So this only works if you work in a restaurant. So what you do, you're drunk, you're kind of like little dizzy. You go back to the kitchen and be like, "Yo, chef, whip me up some pasta." And they're like, "Yeah, okay." And then you get the vodka pasta, right? And then when someone's like, "Hey, are you drunk?" You're just like, "Yeah, there must have been something in that pasta." And then instead of you getting fired for being drunk on the job, the chef gets fired for not cooking the alcohol out of the pasta correctly, fucking with the dish and making you drunk. And then you get to go home for the day because you're drunk and it wasn't intentional.
My only thing is that it's getting away with being intoxicated, right? So you have to like get away with being intoxicated.
Okay.
So
okay, hear me out.
You're coming up with an excuse.
Okay.
That
okay. I get it. So what you do? You go up to your boss. You're like, "Hey, I got a really bad headache. You mind if I wear my sunglasses?" So now they can't see that your eyes are dilated from being drunk. Because that's a thing. And then for your slurred speech, you just got to be really good. So what you do is in your off time, you actually practice talking with speech jammers. So your speech is never slurred. Or you do the flip and you always slur your speech. That way you always sound drunk. So when you are drunk, they won't know until you double slur your speech and you're just and they have no idea what the fuck you're saying.
So constantly and forever impair your own speech.
Yes.
So that whenever you are impaired, your speech doesn't change at all.
Correct. That's how that works,
Gotcha.
Right?
All right. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, that's much more realistic than your first one.
My first one, I was just making up shit as I went. I had like no prior thinking. I cook, and I know damn well you can't not cook the alcohol out of something. If you're cooking with alcohol, the alcohol is going to be cooked out of it. The vodka pasta will never make you drunk, no matter how bad the chef.
Nah, bro plated the pasta and then just took the bottle and dumped it over the top. He just mixed it into the fucking sauce.
He cooked with the vodka, and then afterwards was like, "Nah, needs more vodka." Glug 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 glug.
Yeah. He used the tip of his spoon to get some of the marinara, and he's like, "Nah, I need some more kick to it," and he just turned over the vodka bottle.
He cut the top of it off with the chef knife.
Yeah.
Is this how to make a best friend again? Yeah, removing the best friend. Oh wait.
So you already have best friend number 1.
Okay.
But there can only be one best friend, right? There's only one. It's not best friends. It's best friend. So if you ever come into a situation where something happens and your best friend, I don't know, he had a little chat with somebody and now someone else is here, and now you're gonna have 2 best friends. But you gotta make sure you only have one best friend. So both of your best friend and nominees have to
compete
for over your best friendship, right? So they have to decide amongst themselves any way possible through friendship points to decide who is the best friend.
But at this point, would best friend number 1 want to give up being your best friend? He's already been with you through so much.
Yeah, he's already been through so much, and that's why he has a distinct advantage. But because of his, little mistake, is why the other
what little mistake?
Best friend
bringing in talking to another human.
They're just here now, and so now they have to be your best friend. But best friend number 1 was already here, and so he has the advantage. So he just has to make sure that he gets enough friendship points to regain his title as champion best friend.
So what do you do with best friend number 2 when they lose?
Well, when they lose, there's a distinct event that takes place that you don't have to worry about it anymore. Best friend is going to take care of that.
Interesting. The real best friend. So
Yeah, not the faker that tried to become best friend.
do you think you would have an issue with terminating best friend number 1 if he loses? Because, he's been with you through so much.
I would say yes.
But...
I would say yes. But, best friends can come and go. And when it's time for your best friend to flourish,
when it's time for your best
wings,
friend to be terminated, euthanized, if you will.
No. When your best friend needs to spread their wings and take on other paths in lives, and, they have to acquire other best friends that they can have, you just might not ever see them again. And that's why sometimes you have to get a new best friend.
Okay. So I think this one actually is mine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How to become forklift certified. So what you do is you go to the nearest forklift. You sit down in the driver's seat and you pull out your trusty phone. And you go to a website called bing.com because it's always reliable. And you type in how to be forklift certified. And you read up a little bit. You put the keys in the ignition. And if there's no keys, you go to Bing and you go, how to hotwire a forklift. Voila. Certified via Bing.
Okay. Now, usually I would be like, well, you see, you would get your best friend. But sometimes in life you have to be
always the best friend.
You have to be independent sometimes. So maybe your best friend is off dealing with the other guy who wants to be your best friend, but he's not going to make it. Or boss man's there, and you have to have your best friend, take care of him. So sometimes you just got to be a little independent. So you just hop in the forklift and you just figure it out.
Yeah, you just figure it out. Yeah, that's basically what mine was. Only mine's a little safer.
You try all the levers, you press all the buttons, you hit the pedals.
It can't be that hard.
It can't be that. There's so many people, many such cases when people are already forklift certified, and
taking the class is just a waste of my time.
Like think about it. You went to school that had classes. You didn't learn anything in school. No one did. So take that lesson into real life. You don't need classes. You can just figure it out. You figured out life so far. How is this any different?
How is being forklift certified any different? Oh, here's a better one. When someone asks if you're forklift certified, just say yes. Because even if you're not, you can figure it out.
You can figure it out. And if they're like, well, I need to see some paperwork, you know what you do? You go to Bing and you type forklift certification packet. And then you go to your local library, 10 cents a page, just print it out. And then sign everything.
And guys, this is a fun fact, just so you guys know, to help you save money. Everything is free if there's a gun attached to it.
Well, if there's a gun attached to you.
Yeah. Anyways, next one. These are... I would like to again clarify, this is satire. Don't do this.
Yeah, me and my best friend would like to say that you shouldn't do most of these.
How to scam someone. Take it away, Jeremy.
Alright, so you might see where this is going, right? But I'm going to have my best friend take this one. Alright, go ahead.
Who's your best friend?
Those are some very good points you just made. I'm going to redefine what he just said real quick. So, of course...
He's already done the best friend thing.
Of course, you are going to have your best friend, right?
Yeah.
Like my best friend just said, you and your best friend are going to have, your time. And you got to make some money somehow. You can't be, you can't just steal all your ammunition. Because what if your gun breaks? Then you have no gun. And then you just scam someone to make money to get more gun. So, similar to your strategy with trick-or-treating and various other things you've already done, you get you and your best friend, and you talk about how good pyramid schemes are, right?
Oh.
So, you explain to them a bit, you just be like, you're going to be the guy at the top, and I'm just the little guy. You know, you're gonna be way up, and you just make them pay you money, or you just get on your phone, you just start calling phone numbers. You're like, hey, I need all of your account information for your bank, or else I'm gonna come arrest you. And they'll be like, oh shit, and they'll just give it to you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or you have your best friend do it.
Yeah, or you just say, hey, best friend, I need some money. And they're like, okay, I got you. And
because he's your best
they already
friend.
know.
Because he's your best friend, and he'll never say no.
And because he's your best friend, he's very good at most things, because you know how to pick your best friends just right.
Yeah,
And so he already knows how to scam people really good. And so you could just, honestly, it's like watching a master at work, you know. He'll find the people, he'll look at somebody and go, yeah, that guy over there, I could get him real good. Yeah.
I could take his pants, and he wouldn't even know.
Yeah, I've seen it happen.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so here's my idea. This is going to be one of those ideas that's actually a really good idea. So what you do, similar to your trick-or-treating technique. So what you do is you go up to the house, you have your best friend scope him out. Just he's going up there acting like a door-to-door salesman, or even better, going up, hey, I'm a new neighbor in the neighborhood. I just want to say hi. And while he's doing that, he's checking the house out. Then, this is when the best part is. You scope out this house for a little bit, right? Try to figure out when the person leaves to go to work, when they're home, when they're not home. And then when they're not home, you go into their house and you steal things. But you don't steal the big things. You steal the things they don't really notice, but things they'll need. Like their toilet paper or their paper towels. And at this point in time, you've actually built up a relationship with this neighbor. So they find it safe. Like, hey, I ran out of this at home. I don't want to go up to the grocery store. Do you have any I could borrow? Then you're like, yeah, I don't have a ton of money though right now, so I can give you this for like $5. And then you just sell their stuff back to them after stealing it from them. And you do this a couple times. Voila. Scammed. And then once you've exhausted this neighbor out, you just move. You go to a different house. You don't even have to live in the neighborhood. You can just pretend that you do. Voila. Scammed.
Well, yeah, I was just saying, that was part of the beginning of the scam, is that you pretended to be a new guy in the neighborhood. You can just walk over to the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Or better yet, move a couple of houses down.
Exactly. Boom. Scammed. Please don't do this. Everyone. I know you guys aren't that dumb. Again, I'd like to reiterate, satire. Or is it? We should ask Jeremy's best friend.
Yeah.
This one's mine, right? Yeah. How to make the night better when drunk. Okay, so I actually have a presentation for you. I will be right back. So, everyone has a car. So, you have a little bit of drinks in, and you're like, you know what? I got car keys. I'm gonna go for a drive, because everyone likes driving at night. Boom. The night is better, and you're drunk. And if you get pulled over, we already went over how to get away with being drunk.
Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong. We have already covered all the bases we need in case that we do get caught, because we won't get caught.
Because if you take it really seriously, you'll get absolutely plastered before taking your driver's license photo, like that bit from Family Guy.
All right.
Anyways,
Yeah,
your turn.
I mean, really, I was just gonna be like, you know, spend time with your best friend, because there's no better night than when you're with your best friend.
Take your best friend for a drive.
Yeah, you both can drive in separate cars, but still be close to each other.
A drunk driver has never hurt anyone. It's the drunk crashers that hurt people.
Yeah, and you would never have a best friend with a drunk crasher.
Exactly. Probably because he'd be dead, but you know.
But that's not your best friend.
Yeah. Well, not anymore, because, moving. So you just spend time with your best friend. Yeah.
But of course.
This one's all yours. How to hide being straight.
Well, okay, so we've already covered how to hide when you're being gay, right?
Uh-huh.
So really, it's just the opposite. You and your best friend, the park, the street, your local Walmart.
Holding
just do
hands
it
isn't
everywhere.
gay. Holding hands isn't gay.
Well, we're trying to hide being straight.
Yeah, so you're trying to pretend to be gay. So you hold hands with your best friend. For you, it's not gay, but people might construe it as like, hey, wait, those are gay people.
That's totally what I was implying. You're absolutely
Wait, are you
right,
saying
Kat.
fuck your
you
best
can
friend?
No, you can hold your best friend's hand anywhere, inside, outside, public places,
Yeah.
private places. You could do it everywhere, and everyone's gonna think like, man, those guys sure are gay. And
Well, I wasn't
simple
like,
as is.
That was more of just like icing on the cake. I don't know. Maybe you like kiss his cheek every now and then, but really you're whispering in his ear like, "Hey, you're my best friend."
Of course, of course.
Better yet, get a gay best friend. Then he can be gay, and you just lead him on.
You know, when it's your best friend, it doesn't really matter what they are, because either way,
He's your best
you two
friend.
are gonna be. Yeah, he's your best friend, or she.
Or she.
But I will keep using he. He's your best friend, and they're never gonna leave your side anyways. So it doesn't really matter what they are.
Yeah, the handcuffs make it very difficult for him to leave your side.
I would never.
Okay. So here's what I would think. And you guys, this is going to be like mind-blowing. You guys have no idea how detailed I'm going to get in this. So what you do is you find a transgender female to male and date him. Chick with a guy without a dick. Voila.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
how you hide being straight. So they think, "Oh, he's fucking dudes," but really, no, you don't even, not transgender. You just like say, "Hey babe, pretend to be a guy," and she's like, "Yeah, okay," because she loves you.
Yeah, of course. Your significant other would always love you and do anything for you because they always love you.
Exactly.
But also, a nice workaround, simply date a tomboy.
Exactly. I think that's more of where I was going with that. I just said
And then you
wrong.
could just have if they just like have a short haircut and like wear dude clothes, then it's already solved.
Voila. Anyways, my turn. Yes. How to win the interview. Okay, so what this means, you get called in, and they're like, "Hey, we'd like to interview you for the job. Here's how you win it. You go in, looking your best, suit, tie. Your goal is to always outdress the person interviewing you. So if you're applying for a fast food place, kind of think of, oh, what do they wear on a daily basis? And typically the managers wear like a black polo or some variation of that. You outdress them. Full three-piece suit. Really flaunt the fact that you don't really need this job because you're already rich. Even though you're not. And you actually just had your best friend tailor your suit for you. Right? And then, on top of that, every time they say something, be like, yeah. And then one-up them. Make them... Think of it like they put a cup down in front of you and a water bottle. And they say, fill the cup. And you fill the cup over the top. And then they're like, well, why'd you do that? You just go, because I always go above and beyond. Boom, you win. Hired.
Okay,
Next day.
okay,
Same day even.
Solid.
Or better
Yeah,
yet,
you're starting.
you ride
you're
your
starting
bike.
now.
Better yet, you ride your bike up there, crash your bike halfway through, rip a hole through your polo, scratch up your face, and then when they're like, yo, are you okay? You just go, yeah, I got hit by a car, but I still came anyways. Half of that is true. That actually happened to me. I crashed my bike on my way to apply at my second job that I worked at, and like scratched up the side of my face. I ripped a hole in my dad's polo that he let me borrow. My face was like covered in blood. I just walked in, looked at the manager and went, "Hey, can I borrow your bathroom real quick?" And she was like, "Oh God, yeah, of course." But yeah, that's 2 ways
All
that you
right.
just got from me. 2 ways.
Okay, okay. Well, you see, as the standard that is now, you gotta go with your best friend.
Always, yeah,
And
yeah. You're
what's
actually
greater?
It's a package deal. You only got to pay one of you
What's
guys.
greater than one mind, but two? So you and your best friend, you sit down and you craft up the perfect formula that you will need, the perfect PowerPoint presentation, the perfect script, the perfect everything, so that by the time you have that interview, you two are on point. You guys are finishing each other's lines, making great points about one another, and you're both gonna ace the interview.
And then, because he's your best friend, he's going to go with you anyways. They don't even have to pay him. They just pay you. Voila.
This is true. This is true.
It's a package deal. Double the work for the same price. It's like a 2-for-1.
Absolutely.
Anyways. Man, we really love our best friends here. I said we got time for a couple more. Got 52 minutes. Do we want to do a couple? We're getting into a groove here. How to get a job.
Yeah.
This is different than the
Well,
interview. This is different than the interview. This is how to get the job. Like how to get to the interview process. Like,
All right.
because
So-
you can go in and get a job and they're not going to be like, "Oh yeah, we'll interview you tomorrow." That's not how that works. Just because you went in and applied doesn't guarantee that you have the job. So how do you guarantee that you
so-
have the interview?
You know, we're living in 2024. Who needs a resume these days?
Uh-oh.
All you need is a good best friend, right?
And
Let's
maybe a
say
gun.
you want to work somewhere. Not even for this one. Let's just say that you want to work somewhere. You don't even need to go in. You don't even need to be there. You can be at home relaxing, because you know what your best friend's gonna do? He's gonna march up there. He's gonna find the guy in charge, and he's gonna be like, "Look, my best friend is the best person you could ever need for this job. He's responsible. He's competent. He can get in there and get shit done."
He gives me so many
because-
friendship points.
Because that your best friend knows you the best, because he's your best friend, he's gonna tell the person in charge everything they need to know and every good thing that they can say and provide to guarantee you that they win that job, that you win that job.
Okay. So here's what I do. You go into a place. You go into the place of business that you want. And this really only works for places that have uniforms. But the places that don't have uniforms, there's a different formula, and I'll tell you that one. So, you go into a place, like, say you want to work at, like, Walmart. So you go in, you try to figure out their uniform. Figure out what everyone's wearing, you know. Maybe it's a Walmart polo with an apron or something. And then you go online, and you find a website where you can make anything. And you make their design perfectly. And then you put it on, and you just go to work. And then when they're like, "Hey, are you the new guy?" You're like, yeah, I'm the new guy. And then when they can't find your application, be like, "Oh, you guys probably lost it or something. I don't know. Like, I applied a couple weeks ago, and then you guys gave me an interview, and you said I have the job." And then they're like, "Well, we didn't interview you." This is when the gaslighting comes in. You just be like, "Oh, no, you did. We talked about, like, your family, and at this point in time, you've actually been stalking the owners, so you know everything about them." So you tell them, like, yeah, you told me about your family, 3 cats, 2 dogs, and I told you about my 3 cats and 2 dogs, and you really bond with them. Nothing you say has to be truthful, because, you know, you're already lying to get the job anyways. And then when they still can't find you, like, maybe on the payroll, be like, "Hey, where's the HR department? I'm not on the payroll. Can you guys help me out?" Boom, job. Now, for places that don't have the uniforms, that's easy. You just go in wearing the nicest clothes that you have, and you just start working. Same formula. You just don't have to do the extra step of buying a uniform. What do we think?
And even if they're like, "Hey man, I don't know who you are," you're gonna be working and you're doing such a good job working, then they're just gonna hire you.
Exactly. And then if they're like, hey, where's your application? Be like, oh, you must have lost it. I'll do another one. Okay, how to evade taxes. Simply forget. When they're like, hey, what's going on? Just be like, yeah, sorry, I never got my W-2 from my workplace. I didn't know that the taxes were due yet. Boom.
Alright, so, your best friend, right?
Of course.
Because your best friend is such a good best friend, they'll even let you use their whole identity as your identity. So, what you do is you take their social, their name, their original address, not, their current one with you, but the one they had before. And anyone in their life before, you make sure their names get attached and, like, they get involved. But not with you guys, just with, like, the taxes stuff.
Yeah, because you can't have competition for your best friend. He's your best friend.
You just can't have him, distracted. He's got to be focused on you. He's your best friend. But, he just lets you use all that. And then when tax time comes, they don't even come after you. They're looking for your best friend. But because he's your best friend, and he's not in his original house, and his wife has to deal with it because she's living there now. And you can just be like, no, she was doing it. That guy is not even there anymore. And so not only are you evading the taxes, but you're gaslighting the IRS to make them think that somebody else is actually evading the taxes.
Or, better yet, simply don't exist. Census rolls around, your best friend owns the house. He's your best friend, so he's never gonna just take your house and car from you. So you just put everything in his name, and then he just lets you borrow it. Now you don't exist, you don't have to pay taxes.
See, but then I think that would put your best friend in trouble.
No, because he would just pay his taxes.
He goes to... Are they really your taxes anymore?
No. He pays his taxes. You don't have taxes to pay because you're not real.
Well, yeah, then how are you evading taxes if you don't have taxes?
Well, that's the evasion part. You can't evade. Yeah, right. You can't pay the taxes if you don't have the taxes.
Yeah, all right.
Boom. You're evading them. You're living in the country for free.
Yeah, okay.
And if all of your money is just stolen money from your scams that we were talking about earlier... Sorry, not stolen. Rightfully earned. If all of your money is from rightfully earning it from selling people their own stuff, that's under the table stuff. The government can't tax that because it's in cash. Boom. Taxes evaded. Hopefully this episode doesn't get us in legal troubles. Man, I put some heavy ones on here every once in a while, huh? Ah, yes. How to raise a child. Jeremy, why don't you take us away on this one?
You have been taking care of your best friend for so long that you are the perfect caretaker. Anything your best friend needs, you have it on wrap. And so when it comes to a child, you just do the same thing. You make sure they have food and water
and shelter.
Room. And you make sure that they have a framed photo of you in them. And
in
really,
them?
that's all they need.
I thought you just said a framed photo in them.
No. You get a framed photo of you and your best friend, and you make sure that they also have that one. That, everybody has that one. And you just make sure that since, you've been sitting there, not really raising, but taking care of your best friend so well, that you'll also take care of your kid so well.
Yes.
So your best friend was basically practice for a child.
Yeah. Okay, so here is how I would raise a child. Best way to do it. You have to really evaluate yourself. Are you really ready to raise a child? Maybe it was like an accidental thing. Maybe you slept with one too many people, right? It's an accidental thing. Or maybe oh no, your best friend dies, and because he was your best friend, you're actually the godfather to his children. So now you have a child and you don't know what to do. Simply don't raise the child. Send it to the woods. Let the wolves raise it. The wolves raise their young in such a wonderful way, and then when they get to a certain age, the wolves just like, not wolves. Wolves don't kick their children out, but the wolves will just kick their children out. And then you take your kid back, and they know how to hunt for themselves, so you don't have to feed them. They can just go and play in the woods. They know how to live, like take shelter in places, so you don't even have to house them. You could just let them play in the woods. Boom. And then they come over every like Saturday and they eat pot roast or something,
Uh-huh. So your solution to raising the child is not raising the child.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right.
Or, better yet, if you really evaluate and you're like, you know what, I am ready for a child, and you take the child in, just give them everything they want, because if they're happy, they won't have like trauma. They'll be happy. They'll always listen to you if you always give them what they want. They won't throw a temper tantrum if you give it to them the first time they ask.
Just like your best friend.
Just like your best friend. And when they ask for a gift, you give them a framed picture of you and your best friend. Not you and your child, but you and your best friend, because you love your best friend more. And you have to really instill that into the child so they try to be the best so they can make you proud of them, but you just don't tell them that you already are. This got depressing. Anyways, next one. This is a fucking episode and a half, huh? Yes. How to rob a bank. Okay, so here's what you do. You really go out there, you find a bank, you're like, that's the one, right? And you kind of just walk in. You don't even need to bring anyone, just yourself. You walk in, and you're like, hey, I'm actually the owner of this bank, and I need all of the money. And then they'll just give it to you because you're the owner and they believe you.
Uh-huh.
That's how that works, right? I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet not a single corporation place has actually met the owner of the business they work at.
Maybe.
So they would never... If I walk in with that 3-piece suit that my best friend tailored me for the job interview, they'll just assume that I am the owner and I know what I'm talking about.
All right.
Dress to impress. And if that doesn't work, gun.
Okay. So, me and my best friend, we're a little low on funds. So we have to rob a bank. Now, you might think, damn, this shit's going to be hard. No. Actually, it's going to be really easy. So, what you do is you're like, hey, I want to take out a loan. And they're like, for how much? And you're like, I want all of it. And they're like, oh, okay. They're like, this is going to have a lot of interest. And you're like, oh, I got that. I have several yachts I can sell. I just need some cash right now. And your best friend on the other side of the city, but closely monitored by you, of course, is doing the same exact thing in another bank. And they're like, hey, I need a loan. Look at all my credit. It's so good. And they're like, damn, okay, damn. And because you know your best friend and you know that he would have really good credit.
Yeah,
and
because
so
you wouldn't pick out a best friend that had bad credit. Because that's just a bad investment.
Yeah, no, it's just a bad best friend. It wouldn't even be a good best friend if you had bad credit.
If you have bad credit, you are a terrible friend.
Of course. So once you do that, right, and they give you all of the money, you just move somewhere else and don't pay it back. And you have successfully robbed a bank.
Or, hear me out. Your best friend is up at the other bank doing the same thing you were doing, and he uses that money that he bought, like that loan, to buy the several yachts that you were talking about. And then you sell those yachts back to the bank, and you just keep doing this over and over and over again, and eventually you'll have a bunch of money. And then you make all of that money cash, bury it, declare bankruptcy, go and get that money, boom. Never have to pay a loan.
I just thought of an even better idea. So, we get the loan from the one bank. Your best friend gets the loan from the other bank. And because it's all of the money, you have so much money. And so now you combine your money and you just buy the bank.
You just own the bank. So now you are the owner of the bank. It just goes right back to mine.
So now you are the owner of the bank. You can clear your debt because you don't need interest if you can't, you're not going to pay the bank. You own the bank. And then you just make so much money because you own a bank now and you just buy all the rest of the banks. And then now you control all of the United States of America because you own all the banks.
Boom. Profit. Step 4, profit.
Absolutely.
Anyways, I'm gonna break character. This is the stupidest episode we have ever done.
I'm also gonna break character. This may have been a mistake.
How to beat an addiction. Why don't you go ahead and take us away, Jeremy?
Okay, so if you have an addiction, you can always turn to your best friend. Because they're going to help you. They're going to make sure...
Time out.
They're going to make sure...
I'm breaking character again. Your best friend is going in the thumbnail. I'm just going to find a fucking Shutterstock picture of a guy, and that'll just be your canon best friend.
But yeah, so you get your best friend, and he's that guy. He is your best friend. So he's going to look after you. He's going to make sure that all your addicting habits, you stop doing those. All of those addictions you have, he's going to help you get rid of them. Anything you need, he's there for you. And so he would never let you, his best friend, just like how you would never let him, your best friend, suffer from an addiction. You're just going to help, they're just going to help each other abolish all of it.
Nice. Okay, so I have 2. So, let's just say you want to stop smoking, right? So what you do is you just stop. And then instead of smoking, you drink energy drinks. So you switch to an easier addiction to beat. So instead of smoking, now instead of a nicotine addiction, now you have a caffeine addiction. Because everyone knows how good a caffeine addiction is for your heart. Even I know that. As someone who is a recovering caffeine addict, it is so good for your heart to have a caffeine addiction. So you have a caffeine addiction instead of a nicotine addiction, and then you slowly work your way down the ladder from something that's not going to kill you, or from something that might kill you, to something that isn't going to kill you. Or, better yet, just stop cold turkey. Just stop.
Simply be strong enough to withstand to withstand the withdrawals.
Yeah, simply
and you
get
won't have
good.
any more issues. Also, a side note, you should never pick a best friend who has an addiction. If your best friend has an addiction, then he's not the one.
Euthanize.
He's not the one. So while I did say you should support your best friend, they shouldn't have it in the first place. But if you have one, that's 100% fine. They will help you get rid of it immediately, because that's what they should be doing anyways.
But only if you want.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He's your best friend. If you decide you want it, he should be like, you know what? You're absolutely right. But if you don't want it,
if
he'll
you
get
decide
right on that.
And the flip side, if you decide you want an addiction because smoking is cool, you just tell your best friend, hey, I need a smoking addiction. And he's like, I got you. And just every single second, he's lighting you another cigarette.
Yeah, he is your personal lighter. He will be there to light your stogies.
This is a stupid-ass fucking episode. This is really just a testament to how well we can keep character. This is a test. Uh-oh. How to start World War III. Okay, so AI. What you do. Everyone's seen the Trump, Biden, Obama TikToks, right? And YouTube shorts, and they're playing Minecraft or whatever. So what you do is you get an AI that's like believable like that. And you get your best suit on, you know, that 3-piece suit that your best friend tailored you? You get your best suit on, you stand in front of a podium, and you give this speech declaring war on a foreign country. Then, you take that speech, you edit it up with AI, and make it look like you're a world leader. Then, you and your best friend hack into the hack into the news outlets of said foreign country and post this video and play this video of you declaring war on them, boom, World War III. Because then everyone will have everyone's back. Voila. Now there's just more room in the world for you and your best friend. Because World War III will result in nuclear warfare, and everyone knows that me and my best friend has a bunker.
Okay, so since the last time you and your best friend met up, you owned all the banks in the United States. You now basically control the United States. And so you're like, well, how do we make more money? You know what? War. War always brings profit.
War always makes money.
Absolutely. So, you and your best friend, you're like, okay, well, let's see, how do we start the war first? Well, NATO. If we can take down NATO or piss off NATO enough to get them to kick the US out of the NATO, and we just start a war with every other country in NATO, then we can start World War III.
Okay, so hear me out. Why stop at World War? Why not worlds?
Why not solar system warfare?
You know, the only planet in the solar system that has life, starting war with another planet in the solar system that might have life. Take that, bacteria on Mars.
Yeah, they were gonna get you in your sleep.
Yeah. Boom. Spread false misinformation? What? Spread misinformation on the line. How to pick up ladies. Take it away, Jeremy.
So you might see where I might go with this. Your best friend, he is not just your best friend. He's your best man. And your best wingman. You don't even have to do anything. Just like how to get that job, he will talk you up so good, the ladies would not be able to resist you, right? You will have to have your best friend also be the bodyguard to all these women for how much they are going to want you. He will be throwing hands with these ladies purely because he made them think that you are so good for them, which you are. But because he's so good at his job, he also has to fight these women to make sure that they're not taking so much of you that he is getting left out, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, your best friend has it.
Okay. So, you might see where I'm going with this. We already established that my best friend's married. Boom. Free lady. Take his wife. He doesn't need her anymore because he's your best friend.
And best friends always share. Of course, only whenever you want to. But if you would really want him to share his wife with you, then I'm sure he would say yes.
Because he'll never say no, because he's your best friend, and best friends don't say no.
Absolutely.
Anyways. Whose turn is it? Is it my turn?
Yeah.
No, it's your turn. I started the World War I. Yeah. How to deal with road ragers. Okay. This is a quick and simple one, right? So you're driving on the road. Someone's being a little pissy behind you. They're being a little bit of an asshole. You turn to your best friend and like, hey, this guy's being a little bit of an asshole. And he's like, yeah, I agree. So what you do is you have your best friend record their license plate while you keep driving. Then you follow them home, right? And then you get to their house, and they're like, hey, what the fuck, dude? Why'd you follow me home? You'd be like, listen, man, I just want to let you know, you're coming off as a little aggressive right now, and I need you to take a breath and calm down. And that always works. But just in case it doesn't, and it makes them a little angry, which is a very rare occasion, gun. This is all.
Okay. Now, when someone is road raging, it's usually because it's your fault. But your best friend knows it would never be your fault. And so it always has to be the road rager's fault.
It's always the road's fault.
It's not even the guy over there who's getting mad. It's the road itself. The road is the issue. And so with your immense amount of money, you fix all the roads. Any road that you even have a 2% chance of driving on, your best friend will fix that road for you. That way, you will have plenty of space in the lane. The guy can just go around. He doesn't even need to sit behind you. And if he does...
Okay, so hear me out. Make the entire world a parking lot. You drive wherever you want. Just be smart. You know, the world's like 72% water. Make it 75% asphalt.
You're absolutely right. I should have thought of that. I should have just had my best friend crank out the cement mixer and just dump all the cement in the ocean. And just turn the ocean into one big cement road. Who needs airplanes?
That won't have any consequences on the environment.
Of course, the trout population, immense. They will evolve to swim in concrete. In fact, your best friend, he's also a scientist. Because you know how to pick your best friend. He will specifically engineer trout to be able to swim in concrete. Saving the trout population and giving us infinite food forever.
So, I was kind of just saving this till the very end. But my best friend's actually Johnny Sins. So he's everything. Because I know how to pick out my best friends.
Alright.
Only not exactly Johnny Sins, but he's like Johnny Sins. He's an astronaut, he's a firefighter, he's a scientist that specifically works in bioengineering, so he's able to biologically mutate trout to swim in concrete.
Of course.
So you fix road ragers by adding more roads.
Exactly. That way, there's not enough... and if they really just want to be mad... then your best friend will have a talk with them, and it just won't be your problem anymore because your best friend will handle it.
We had 25 of these, and we were talking about, we might not do all 25 of these. We have 4 left. Oh, no. Take us away, Jeremy. How do you operate heavy machinery?
So similar to the forklift, you just figure it out. You could have your best friend who already knows how to operate it because you know how to pick them.
Because
but
you know how to
it's
pick
you.
Best friends.
You have to. You want to do it. You want to. You're like, no one can stop me. I own all the banks. I own the world. I want to operate this heavy machinery, and I'm just gonna figure it out. I don't need YouTube. I don't need my best friend. He could tell me, but I got this. I'll just do it.
Okay, are you done? My turn now?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to pull out your phone. You're going to look at the machine. You're going to look at your phone. And just kind of guess the name, right? So if it's a backhoe and you don't really know the name of a backhoe, just be like, backwards diggy thing. And you type that in on Bing. And you look up how to drive it. Boom. Better yet, best way to drive heavy machinery and how to operate it is if you're impaired. So before jumping on the forklift, or... in this case, we're going to say backhoe, just chug a couple liters of vodka. Then, if someone's like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? You're just like, sorry, I'm a little dizzy, I'm drunk. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's okay. I bet you know how to operate one when you're sober. We'll let you keep doing it. Boom.
There's that theory that whenever you're inebriated or drunk, that your
confidence rises.
Your courage and your confidence rises, but also your ability to sustain damage goes down, and that applies to any machinery that you're working on.
Yeah.
So the machinery will not cause damage nor take damage because you are drunk.
You touch the machinery, and the machinery actually becomes more confident in itself, and it just does it for you.
Yeah, you just have that ability.
Anyways. My turn. Okay. How to make sure you get your daily meals in. Okay. Here's my solution to make sure you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You wake up, and you eat all 3 of them at the same time. Yeah, big breakfast, big lunch, big dinner, and then you don't have to worry about eating for the rest of the day. If you're a little hungry, that's okay. You're supposed to be hungry. Boom.
Okay, okay. Simple, simple. I like that. But who wants to make meals nowadays? Not me. But you know who really likes making me food? My
Your
best
best
friend.
friend.
So anytime I'm hungry, which if I didn't tell you before, I've probably mentioned it, but he is a 5-star Michelin chef. That because I picked the bestest of best friends, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
really
of course.
great. And he was the presidential chef at one point. He's just really good at his job at making food and being a bioengineer and working heavy machinery and doing all the other things that I know he can do.
I find
And
it
he's just gonna make the food for me.
I find it extremely impressive that you're able to say 99% of what you're saying without busting out laughing. Because everything we're saying is just fucking stupid. And this is just like practice for improv. This episode is going to be a pain in the ass to edit. But I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
Well, you see, I know that I cannot insult my best friend's name by saying or laughing while I'm talking about him. So
Okay,
I know.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't
shouldn't
want to
be.
insult his image in such a way.
Yeah, yeah. We have 2 left. Thank God. So your best friend would just cook for you.
Yeah, and he would make sure I get all my calories.
Nice, nice. You have a pretty good best friend. He's the best of the best.
I told you I know how to pick them.
Okay, Jeremy, why don't you go ahead and tell us how to teach a child not to steal?
Well, the child may have seen me and my best friend's past exploits, and because my best friend and I both have very strong moral compasses, we will tell the child about what to do and what not to do, right? And realistically, I wouldn't say that taking a loan of all of the money in a bank and then using it to buy the bank would be stealing at all. I think it would simply be a smart business decision. So as long as as long as me and my best friend teach the child about how to make smart business decisions instead of stealing, then they will not steal. They will simply just make smarter business decisions.
Okay, so here's how I would teach a child not to steal. So, specifically my child, and we know I like my child. I wouldn't say love, because the love goes for my best friend, not my child. Actually, my best friend's wife, too, because, I stole her. We share. So, what I would do is I would just teach the child, hey, you don't have to steal. You could just ask, and I'll give it to you. Boom. Or, if they really can't grasp that, every time they steal, cut a portion of their finger off. They'll stop stealing when they lose all their fingers.
This is true because then they won't be able to. Physically.
Man, I really wonder which one is it gonna stop on? I can't read it, so I have to spin it anyways. How to stop a bank robbery? Okay, so hear me out. My bank's being robbed, right? Because I bought the bank. I'm stealing your idea. I bought the bank, right? So my bank's being robbed, and the robber comes in, guns ablazing, and he's like, "Hey, give me all the money in the safe." And you're like, "Hey, buddy, let's make love and not war." And then you give him a hug. And then when he's like, "Yeah, but I still want the money," you're like, "How about this? Instead of the money, I'll give you a job." And you make him the person directly under you, but not under your best, under your best friend, because of course your best friend's always going to be right there with you, He's going to have the job under your best friend. And then he won't want to steal from you because he's getting paid a lot of money to work at the bank. Your turn?
Okay. So, I like your approach, but I think you went a little soft on him. See, my best friend doesn't appreciate any kind of stealing, which is why we don't steal. We make smart financial decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And so, my best friend also knows that I don't like it when people steal, especially from us. So my best friend is gonna march down there. He's gonna be like, "Hey man, you can't be stealing our money." And he's like, "Well, why not?" And he's like, "Well, because you're not making a smart financial decision." And he's like, "How's that?" And then my best friend pulls out a shotgun and shoots him. And he goes,
Damn.
"Well, now you're." And he goes, "Well, now you're never gonna make money ever again." And the robber, in his final moments, is like, "You know what? You're right."
I think this is the first time we have openly admitted that Jeremy's best friend has been killing people this entire time.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I never said he died. I just said I said while he was dying, and then it was in his final moments, or so the robber thought, because with the robber, with a new sense of life and a new sense of what he should be doing, he in his inner mind says that he's gonna turn a new leaf if he survives, and my best friend knows this. And because my best friend has been trained in CPR and EMS training, he is going to resuscitate the robber and bring him back to health. To which the robber will turn a new leaf, and instead of robbing people, he will simply make better financial decisions.
And then he'll ask to take out a loan and then buy your bank from you. You know, I really like the fact that your best friend is so good at CPR, and he's just so good at resuscitating people. He's able to bring him back to life with a point-blank shotgun wound to the chest. What a best friend.
What a best friend indeed.
Anyways, that's all the ones we have. What did we learn today? Did we learn anything?
That we got some stellar best friends.
With a best friend, anything's possible. I learned that this was a good idea in concept and only concept.
I learned that if I make a running joke in the start and don't shut it down immediately, it might just last to the end of the video.
You know what? When this video drops, I might have to do another merch drop that's just a black shirt with "my best friend" written on the chest.
My best friend : and it's blank.
Yeah, so this has been Filterless, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed whatever the fuck this was. I'm pulling up the outline so I can give the, socials, because I still don't remember them. So, social medias. We got some stuff. We got an Instagram, it's Filterless Podcast. We got Twitter, the Filterless PC, and TikTok, the Filterless Podcast. We also have a Discord, which will be down in the description below, as well as an email that you can email us topics to if you don't want to join the Discord. And that email is filterlesstopics@gmail.com. Jeremy, do you have anything, maybe tell them how other ways to support, the show?
Buy some merch.
Yes.
Do it.
The merchandise.
If you don't, your best friend will be upset.
Yeah. Jeremy's best friend will be upset, and then he'll come for you.
He'll make sure you make better financial decisions in the future.
By buying the merch.
Such as buying merch.
Says the one person who doesn't have any Filterless merch. Anyways. We do have a cool merch drop, and we got some other cool ones on the way. We got a really dope-ass Halloween one that we're working on currently. And also, I will be releasing my best friend merch because, running jokes are awesome. But yeah, a lot of the merch will be limited time, so if you guys miss out on it, it'll just be gone. The Halloween merch is the only one that's going to be reoccurring. I'm going to release the same design every year, but it's only going to be there for the last 3 months of October. 3 months. 3 weeks of October. So make sure you get the merch when it pops up. But ultimately, if you don't, it's okay. It might be back. Another way to support the podcast is just tell people. You're talking to your best friend. You're like, hey, I found this new podcast. It'll make us really happy. Filterless Podcast. You just tell your friends about it. Probably not your family because they might judge you. But, you can tell your family if you want. Yeah. Best way to support the podcast, word of mouth. Reviews also go a long way. This has been the Filterless Podcast, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed. Jeremy, hit him with an outro.
Guys, make your best friends proud by living how your best friend would want you to live. Exactly how you want to live.
Because your best
With
friend
that
is
being
your
said,
best friend.
With that being said, go listen to all the rest of our episodes because your best friend really wants you to.
And we are back. So we will have episodes every single Sunday until we decide to go on a break again, which will be around winter time again because, that's when all the holidays happen. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Filterless, and go fuck yourselves. Bye-bye.